Good morning, everybody. I came on here to talk about a recap of the San Francisco 49ers versus Houston Texans preseason game. And as I rewatch it, I'm like, you know what? We need to focus more so on Trey Lance, the situation, what we saw Thursday evening, and kind of break it all down, right? We're going to do that right here on the San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Cross Talk TV podcast. Peace. Welcome to another episode of the San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. I'm your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, Eric Crocker, and I'm here to break down everything pertaining to the San Francisco 49ers and their last preseason outing against the Houston Texans. Definitely want to thank y'all for making me your first listen of the day. I shouldn't have said that because that is our that's our locked on tagline. Thank you for making this first listen. But this is truly the first listen of the day. You guys woke up to listen to me, and obviously, listen to the people that will be coming on live. That's in the chat right now. I did mention Locked On 49ers. Make sure you listen to Locked On 49ers with myself and my co-host Brian Peacock. Come at you 5 days a week. Also Locked On NFL Draft. And y'all know we got Underdog Fantasy right there. Underdog Fantasy. Download the app or go to underdogfantasy.com and promo code Crocky. Promo code Crocky. I did do a Underdog Fantasy preseason game and with the 49ers, and I was off just a little bit. I did not get the point. Well, first of all, 49ers didn't score, so it was really hard, and I chose the over on Brock Purdy's points and like fantasy points and the over on, I believe, on Subfield too. So I didn't get that. But we're going to talk about it, man. We're going to talk about everything pertaining to the 49ers, and I have a few notes. We'll dive deeper into these guys. As I was watching it, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make this more about Trey Lance and what exactly I'm seeing, because I see everybody, what's the word? I don't want to say panicking. It was interesting. The others started coming out of the woodworks, right? I'm looking on Twitter and I just see, Trey Lance bust, this and that. And I'm like, golly. And, you just see the little things. I saw someone, it was a Jets fan. It was clear he was a Zach Wilson guy, right? Like that was his little profile picture. And he's like freeze framing, Trey Lance, terrible, happy feet. Look at this, took this sack. Third long, took this sack, blah, blah. Like he missed this. I was expecting to see a big arm, like all these different things. And I'm like, whoa, calm down. We're going to break that down. All right. And there were some things I don't want to say concerning that I saw from Trey Lance, but some things that he potentially might have to overcome. All right, so I can't wait to kind of break down all of that. Some things I will touch on just real quick, just to acknowledge some of these guys, and we'll dive deeper into the other aspects of the game and maybe what to expect from some of these other guys. All right, but real quick, Ray McCloud as a returner, I thought it was very meh. Like that's what I put. McCloud as returner, meh. Right. And essentially what I mean, I didn't see anything. I didn't see like a dynamic ability. I didn't see the ability to make guys miss. Now, maybe this is him saying, it's preseason. I'm not going to do anything too crazy to put my body in harm's way. There is that. There's an aspect of that. But if he was like, this is me as a return man, I was very underwhelmed with the potential that I saw there. I didn't think that there was anything from Ray McCloud that was like, oh, yeah, got a return guy, right? Yeah, I know most of y'all probably don't watch a lot of other teams, but Dallas Cowboys got a return man. Turbin, I believe his name is, little guy. And he was just playing in another league. And you see him return the punt, return for a touchdown, return the kickoff, return for a touchdown in the same game. Now, I'm not saying Ray McCloud has to be that. I am not saying that. But show a little bit of dynamic ability. He looked very indecisive as a return guy. And again, this is not his first go around doing this. He's been doing this in the years. He should be very experienced and kind of understand what he's looking at, how to set up blocks. And I just thought it was very meh, like him as a returner. So that was one thing that jumped out to me right away. We definitely will get into the offensive line as we talk about kind of Trey Lance and what I saw from that and maybe what to expect throughout the season. A few more quick hitters before we dive into the Trey Lance and offensive line. Let's see. Start opportunity. Samuel Womack. He had a couple plays that were very notable. You had the pass interference near the end zone. And listen, I'm like the biggest. I love chest to chest technique. I think he did have hold of the jersey a little bit on the outside to where it's like, hey, if a ref calls pass interference on this, yeah, you kind of got to live with that, right? And I thought it could have kind of went either way. I still like the violent hands. I like the technique that he used, but you can't grab a hold. And if you are going to like grab, touch a little bit, you got to let go at some point. And excuse me, that might be the dry voice that the guy was talking about with me. But if you are going to grab hold, at some point you got to let go, right? And he never let it go, so they called the pass interference. I get it. Good call. Now, obviously, he came back, and he was playing outside there because Samuel Womack started on the outside, and they had the Amador Lenore in the slot. And I thought both guys played like solid in that role. There was a play vertically down the field with Samuel Womack on the outside. They threw a go route. I thought a guy had a step on him, but he did a terrific job of, one, having good eye discipline, right? Okay, this guy has about 2 steps on me at this time. I'm not going to look back. I'm going to continue to drive. Good job. One thing I really teach my younger guys that are cornerbacks is, you look, or defensive backs, you run faster looking straight ahead than you do looking back. All right, again, you run faster looking straight ahead than you do looking back. So if there is space, shout out to Coach Howard, Nutella Howard, head coach, Lincoln High School in Stockton, California. If there's space, you must chase. And there was space. So he did a really good job of chasing. And then the best part about what Womack did here, because again, the guy had step on him, he did a really good job with the hand fighting, breaking that stride. Another thing I tell all my athletes that I train, all right, your hands, your arms, your legs, they all work together. So if you do this with your arms, your legs will do the same thing. All right. If I do this with my arms, my legs, feet, they're going to do the same thing. Really quick, choppy steps. All right. Now, if I'm doing this and somebody hits my arm, well, that's going to break my stride because, again, it's going to affect my knee drive because, again, my legs and my arms, they work in unison. So Samuel Womack, breaking that arm. I thought that was terrific. You could see that it affected the stride of the Houston Texans receiver, and I thought that was good technique. So even when you have a step, it's like, okay, there's still things that I can do to affect the outcome of this play, and I thought Samuel Womack did a terrific job of doing that. On the interception, right, from the slot, now it wasn't Samuel Womack with the pick, it was Tarvarius Moore, but I thought Samuel Womack did a terrific job. Listen, we're talking about slot fade, right? Slot fade, one of the more difficult routes to defend because there's so much space. And not only did he squeeze the space out and play chest-to-chest technique. And when I say chest-to-chest, it's basically like, somebody else calls it cheek-to-cheek, but I'm like, bro, I can't call it cheek-to-cheek. That's crazy. All right. But he did a really good job of, I'm chest-to-chest. I'm going to get into the receiver. I'm going to look back. He barely got his head around, but he did a terrific job of doing that just in case the ref wants to get a little ticky-tack. And ball coming in, watch the eyes, violent hands through the ball, and he kept fighting. Boom, boom, boom. I'm swinging at all that. Ball pops up, Tarvarius Moore, interception. And the reason why I believe that's significant, because there are certain guys that are just playmakers, right? Like certain guys you watch around the league, and they're like, how does the ball always find them? How are they always involved? Well, that was the 4th takeaway that Samuel Womack was involved in. All right, he had the 2 picks against Green Bay. He had the fumble recovery in the second game against the Minnesota Vikings, and then he had the PBU that resulted in an interception last night, Thursday evening, against the Houston Texans. So it's a guy that did a really good job of affecting passes in college. He had a ton of pass breakups throughout his time at Toledo. So consistently put himself in position to be able to make plays at the NFL level so far. Again, maybe not playing against, it's not like that was Brandon Cooks running a slot fade, but so far, whoever he's lined up against, he has looked like, you know what, I am a legit starter in this NFL, and you're the backup, so I look like the starter while you look like the backup. I'd say he's kind of positioning himself into that type of role. Love it. Here we go. Croc, I hate to be nitpicky, but was that PI on Womack on that INT play? Yeah, so I talked about that. I thought that it was pass interference. I thought that if you call pass interference on it, I can see why they call PI on it. Again, ideally you want to, okay, if I'm going to get a little grab of the jersey, whatever, let go. He got grabbed and he just held it there and held it there and held it there and held it there. And the longer you hold it there, you're just going to give that ref more of a reason to throw that flag. I think there was like a decent amount of fighting between both guys, the receiver and the corner. But for the most part, when you're at the corner and you kind of initiated the contact, they're going to throw that flag. All right. A couple more things I want to talk about real quick before we get into Trey Lance and his performance. And again, we'll dive deeper into some of these guys. I did want to touch on the running backs real quick. And again, we'll find out a little bit more based on who makes the team and whatnot. Right away, I saw something very interesting. One, Jeff Wilson, he came in, he ran well. That was awesome. He also caught the ball well. That was good to see. But we know what Jeff Wilson is. What are the other guys? All right, Trey Sermon had an opportunity to run the ball. Mason came in, Jordan Mason. He came in and had an opportunity to run the ball early on, and I was like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is this them bringing them in against the same offensive line, against the same defense, trying to figure out which one of these guys is going to make the team? Is it going to be Trey Sermon? Is it going to be Mason? Now, neither guy on paper did well, right? I believe Sermon had, 8 carries, 20 yards. All right, that's not ideal. Mason had 4 carries for 7 yards. 4 carries, 7 yards. Not great. But more than the stats, right? To me, it was more about what it looked like. And I have a major takeaway, right? Now, I see Twitter, and I saw everything everybody was saying. Oh, Trey Sermon, he thinks he's Barry Sanders. And I'm like, do y'all not see this center, Sutherland, get blown up right into his face? Listen, when color flashes, it's like, oh, man, I got to make a move on that. When your center gets blown up right in your face, what are you supposed to do? When Moore, or whoever it was on that 4th and 2, gets blown up, that whole side gets blown up right in front of your face, what do y'all expect these guys to do? It's not, and you can't say, and I saw somebody, Mason ran behind the same offensive line. Well, Mason, we saw him get blown up too on plays, right? So to me, that's not what's going to make the difference between which guy ran better. But what I did see is when it was there, and I thought both guys had a little bit of opportunity to kind of get a little bit in the open field. When it was there for both guys, I thought that Trey Sermon, to me, just didn't show the burst I would like to see, right? Just that kind of a little bit more dynamic ability. I'm getting downfield. Everything to me, even when he, again, had room, and it wasn't very often, but when he did have that room, I didn't see that just burst, running, finishing strong like that. Okay, I'm putting my foot in the ground. I'm getting up right now. It was almost like Le'Veon Bell, but without being Le'Veon Bell. All right, because Le'Veon Bell had a very unique run style that he kind of developed, and it was kind of this pity-patty, like, okay, I'm going to find the hole, okay, I'm going to dance a little bit, and okay, I'm going to do my thing. But he was, like, great at it. It's almost like Trey Sermon's, like, running like that, but then you're not Le'Veon Bell, and it's not, it doesn't look quite right. So I didn't see that necessary burst. I see that was the biggest difference between not just Trey Sermon and Jordan Mason, but even TDP. Again, he had plays blown up in the backfield. But when he did have that time where it's like, hey, I can get outside and I can put my foot in the ground and I'm going to get north right now, what did it look like? You just saw a little bit more just burst, strong finish, even if it was 4 yards. Those are the things I was looking at to just see what it looked like. So if it's me, I probably would let go of Trey Sermon, right? And there's no feelings, no hard feelings towards Trey Sermon or anything like that. Maybe just the scheme doesn't quite fit with what his skill set is. Something that I noticed. All right. But Mason, again, nobody in that backfield had great numbers as far as the box score goes. But just what it looked, and again, plays being blown up in the backfield, that's very difficult for a running back. And I saw all the guys have to deal with that. But just in the sense of when they did have that one glimmer of, okay, it's here, what does it look like then? And I thought Trey Sermon had the least burst out of all the guys, and I just would like a little bit more from my back. So that was just one thing that I just kind of noticed a little bit. All right, one thing I kind of noticed. All right, shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Approaching 200 of y'all live in the first 15 minutes. That is awesome. Let's talk about Trey Lance. offensive line and kind of some overall thoughts. All right, first, we know, and again, I got to bring context, etc. But we know that there was no Mike McGlinchey, and there was no Mike McGlinchey or Trent Williams, right? But the interior guys, I think those are kind of the guys. Now, Brunson School wasn't in there. Can he potentially start at center because Sutherland's getting dog walked back into the quarterback? Not great, all right? But you have, right now, 3 new guys in the interior, and they have to figure it out. And you got to hope that Moore or McKivitz do not have to play. You got to hope they do not have to play. They couldn't hold up. They couldn't hold up. That was some of the worst offensive. And when I rewatched it, I went back, I watched it again, and I was like, this is worse. This is worse than what I saw the first time. And I was like, gosh, this is disgusting. So my overall thoughts on the offensive line play and how it pertains to Trey Lance is I think Trey Lance knows where to go with the ball, right? Like if he's able to drop back, set up, and okay, I need to go here with the ball, and this is where coverage kind of dictates, and we'll talk about that a little bit as well. He typically knows. I don't think Trey Lance knows where to go with the ball when the pressure is right now. Pressure is right now, and okay, I know where this guy is, and I don't have to think about it because he's there. That's the part that he's missing. Now, some of it, I don't want to say I'm not being fair to him. I could be not truly understanding what goes into the read that he has, because I'm just watching it from all 22, and I'm like, oh, well, this guy is open. Right, so like, why would you do this? Why would you bail on this when this guy's open right now? I can't really see what he's seeing, but I know one thing. There were guys getting beat by the time he got to the top of his drop, and it's like, man, I got to the top of my drop to set up, to step up into maybe potentially a throw or to scan the field, and Moore just gets whooped right off the ball. I mean, it was bad. Like Moore gets whooped, McKivitz gets whooped. And it's like, as soon as I get to the top of my drop, I don't even have time to really set up. Before now, I got to make a move and get off get off script. All right. So I think a lot of people are going to panic about San Francisco 49ers offensive line. I would say I don't know what they are because I didn't get a chance at all this preseason to see Trent Williams, I don't think. And I think I saw minimal Mike McGlinchey. I would say you miss Mike McGlinchey if he's not playing. And now that was very clear. That was very clear. All right. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about, I have it kind of written down with my notes, kind of in order and how kind of plays were happening and what I saw from him. All right. Here we go. First throw, boot right to Kyle Juszczyk, first down, picked up for about 15 yards. Right. So that was the first throw from Trey Lance, and it was a good job off the boot. And one thing I noticed right away is, and I've talked about Trey Lance with his aggressive eyes, right? Like you had a little sit route right now with George Kittle, and he's open right now. He bypassed that, which could have been potentially a 6-7 yard gain, right? And I don't think anybody would have been upset with that. Okay, I boot out, I see George Kittle sitting there, boom, I throw it right to George Kittle, and he picks up 6-7 yards. Well, he bypassed that, threw it outside. Nice, too. Nice. I mean, boot outside, throws a strike right to Juszczyk. Kyle Juszczyk knifes upfield. He does a terrific job of knifing upfield, picks up about 15 yards. That was good. And, again, he is someone that's just going to consistently be a little bit more aggressive with his eyes. Now, the tough thing is you miss the gimmies sometimes with that, right? And we'll get into that. But overall, I don't think any one of y'all, when you see, second play of the game, boot right. Okay, George Kittle's there. Now I want Juszczyk. Boom, he hits it. 15 yards. It was a strike. Perfect throw. Great job. Moving on. Now, here's the issue, right? When you start talking about inconsistency. The very next play. Right tackle beat badly. All right. So this is right now. Trey Lance gets to the top of his drop. The right tackle, which was McKivitz, he's beat right off rip. He was getting beat sometimes, and it looked like, are you even trying? or are you trying to get beat? It was crazy. I don't want to disrespect the offensive lineman, but it was bad. Anyways, right now, you had the right tackle. He's beat, and that was right at the top of Trey Lance's drop. Now, what can Trey Lance do well? Well, he can get out and he can move. So he gets out on the move. And essentially, it's somewhat of the same throw, but not the same because I think it changes mechanically or whatnot. But he's rolling out to his right, and he tries to throw kind of across his body, and he ends up throwing a one-hopper to Brandon Ayuk. Now, that's when we start talking about the inconsistency because back-to-back plays, obviously one's a broken play to the right, the other one's a bootleg to the right. Obviously, one, you don't have to, that shoulder isn't open because you're throwing to the right now, and he did a good job of doing that. That was the easier throw to make. But now on the next one where you're flushed out of the pocket and you're rolling right and you try to throw, so like, okay, let's line y'all up here, right? So let's say this camera right here. All right, so I'm rolling right. Now I pass the camera and try to come back across my body. That was essentially what he tried to do, and he didn't hit it. He didn't hit it. So again, the mechanics aspect of things are those things. And for those of you who have listened to me talk about like on podcasts for a while now, and I know there's a lot of you that have. The biggest thing I preach on when I'm evaluating prospects, et cetera, is what can you teach? What can't you teach? Right? So can I teach Trey Lance to, hey, get that ball up to Ayuk? Or is it just like he's never going to be able to hit that? Well, I just saw him hit one rolling to the right to Kyle Juszczyk. It was a strike, perfect spiral, et cetera. Right? So this one, again, we start talking about the inconsistency that you have to build on. How do we get him to be able to make that throw to where it is kind of across his body and he has to get enough on it to get it to Brandon Ayuk? Those are things that you expect him to be able to do. Third overall pick, you trade up a lot for him. You have the arm strength, you have the ability, et cetera. Now that's a throw you got to make. All right. But again, first throw, strike, good job, bootleg, first down, 15 yards. Second throw, knuckler. That's what I put. Lance threw a knuckler. And then I put a plus sign, inconsistent, right? So those are things that you want to see him consistent at. Just hit that. It's open, hit it. All right. Now, third downs, needs to improve. This was something that I felt like Trey Lance needed to improve on as a rookie in the league. 49ers, where while he did have drives that consistently kept going, it was kind of weird, right? You watch the Arizona game, and for a team that didn't really score a whole lot of points, I think 49ers would score, 10 points in the Arizona game for the kid, Trey Lance. They took the ball into Arizona territory, was it 8 out of 10 drives? Something crazy like that, right? But overall, Trey Lance on third downs needs to improve. And when people talk about Jimmy Garoppolo and, well, Jimmy's not this, Jimmy's not that, Jimmy can't do this. One thing Jimmy did well was, hey, like third downs, I'm gonna hit the gimmies, right? Third downs, I'm gonna hit the gimmies. Third downs, I'm going to make the right throw, etc., and I'm gonna keep these chains moving. So while there might have been limitations in the offense because of Jimmy Garoppolo's skill set or things that he just wasn't great at, he still did a really good job of third downs. Like, I know, okay, I'm gonna go to this right spot. We're gonna hit this, and we're gonna keep these chains moving. All right. I see the super chat right here. I'm gonna put this in my star thing so I don't lose my train of thought right now. But I appreciate it. We're gonna get right back to that. All right, so third downs needs to improve. That's one of my notes here. First third down, he threw a go route to Deebo Samuel. Now I talk about this, and I feel like I'm being pretty fair with my constructive criticism of Trey Lance right now. All right, so again, I'm just talking about what I'm seeing. Go routes will always be the lowest percentage throw a quarterback can attempt. So you see him throw one against Green Bay. He has Danny Gray down the field, hits him. Really, I think he would have thrown. That was a perfect ball, even if it was covered. It was over the outside shoulder. Great, hits it, boom, touchdown. The one to Deebo Samuel, it was underthrown. Now, is it underthrown to? Let's talk about first what we saw in practice. In practice, what I consistently saw with the connection between Trey Lance and Deebo Samuel was the overthrows, right? I mean, he's overthrown about 3 yards or so. Overthrow him. And I'm like, well, Deebo is a guy who, when we watch, when we watch Jimmy Garoppolo throw the ball to Deebo Samuel, he just puts it on him. Don't throw the go route to Deebo Samuel to where you want him to have to run underneath it. I don't think that's necessarily going to be his strength, running vertically down the field. And maybe Deebo's just not a great deep ball guy, right? But we saw him catch a couple last season, one against the Bears, one against the Lions, right? And the consistent theme with both of those was it's on him. So even if it's kind of like underthrown or whatever, he got himself in position to be able to make a play on the ball. So now, again, Trey Lance and Deebo Samuel in practice, vertically down the field, the overthrows. All right, so in the game, he takes some off of it. I think he took just a little bit off of it. Now, people, underthrown again. Lowest percentage pass that a quarterback can attempt is vertically down the field. A lot of times, the receiver has to adjust to the ball, more times than not. If you watch, just go watch NFL, just go watch deep balls, and very rarely do you see a guy just hit someone in stride. Maybe Aaron Rodgers, all right? But for the most part, it's, hey, I need my receiver to make a play. And then it just looks good, right? I remember Deebo Samuel's rookie year. It was, I think C.J. Beathard threw a go route down the left sideline in the first preseason game against the Dallas Cowboys. And it was just like, boom, great catch, right? But it was something he had to slow up for it. People were like, oh, slow up. Like, listen, that's going to happen. Deebo Samuel had to slow up for the go route from C.J. Beathard, but he went up top and he made a great play. And a lot of times, again, you might have the Danny Gray touchdown, but more times than not, you're going to have a play where you have to have some type of adjustment. All right, well, I thought there was an opportunity for Deebo Samuel to adjust, but he didn't. Ideally, you would like to see him kind of turn, stop, jump through the guy, and you'll get a pass interference call. I actually hate it when receivers do that because it's like, man, what do you want the DB to do? But overall, I don't think that was like a bad throw. I do think it was slightly underthrown, but I don't think it was bad. Like, bad would have been, did he airmail it outside? Did he throw it so short that it gets intercepted? Did he overthrow him? Did he throw it too far inside? I didn't think it was any of those, so it wasn't like a bad throw. It just wasn't like on the money, which again, lowest percentage pass you can attempt is vertically down the field. All right, so, but that's not the issue on that play. Again, talked about Trey Lance having aggressive eyes, and I think that's going to continue. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but so far, the connection between Deebo Samuel and Trey Lance has not been great, especially down the field. So who am I going to look to, right? Who's going to be my guy? Well, okay, where's Brandon Ayuk, right? So that's what I'm looking for. Oh, I got Brandon Ayuk in the slot. Now, we see what it is. It's man-to-man coverage. They came down, they said, we're going to press, we're going to play man-to-man. I'm going to my guy who won, or I'm not, if I know I got to go route with Deebo, I'm probably not throwing that. So what do I have? I got a slant by Ayuk in the slot against a slot defender. I like that matchup. That's the matchup I want. So even if I am going to manipulate it a little bit, I'm going to look right, okay, because there was an underneath linebacker who was reading his eyes. He went right. All right, now all I do is just move you so I can throw this slant backside to Brandon Ayuk. And Brandon Ayuk beat his guy. Ayuk was open. So again, Trey Lance predetermined where he wanted to throw it, and it was like, hey, I got one-on-one coverage on the outside with Deebo Samuel. I'm throwing this go route. I don't know if that's going to be the connection. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me throw this slant to Brandon Ayuk, which would have been a nice little catch and run as well. And those are the things when we start talking about, when people talk about development, right? Like the things that getting comfortable with. Why you do preseason games? Because I'm pretty sure you go into that, and if I'm them, I'm saying, listen, I'm going to, hey, next time if I get you lined up and they go man in the slot, like, bro, I'm coming to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the higher percentage throw than a go route, much higher, right? I mean, you go from like something that's like 40, 60, right? Because I looked at deep ball percentages from quarterbacks, and it was like they're completing about roughly like 40, 30, the good ones. We're talking about anywhere between like 33 to 41% of their deep balls. All right. So that's a shorter percentage as opposed to a slant, which is probably closer to like 88%. Right. So and I think some people I see it in the chat right here. He says, one read, Trey, I hope that's not the case. It's not so much that it's one read. It's that pre-snap, I look at what I'm getting is man-to-man coverage. I trust Deebo Samuel to win vertically on this route. So not so much one read, it's predetermining where you're going with the ball. Little different. Little different. All right, little different. But overall, I'm probably going to bypass throwing the go route to Deebo Samuel when I have Brandon Ayuk in the slot versus a nickel defender, and it's man-to-man coverage. I think that Ayuk is going to win that more than Deebo's going to win that. That's just what I would see it. So, do you have those conversations with Brandon Ayuk? Brandon Ayuk, man, you get that again, bro, I'm coming to you. And it's really that simple. But when you only play, 2 series with those guys, you don't have a lot of time to make that adjustment. And you would have liked to see that. All right, you would have liked to see that. All right, here we go. Ayuk man in the slot, 30%. Got to take Ayuk versus man, no Debo. So that was my notes, right? Got to take Ayuk versus man in the slot, no to Debo Samuel on the go route. All right, here we go. Next drive, pin 10. So pin 10 is, and again, got to win on third downs. Got to win on third downs. That's where he's got to get better at. Pin 10. And that means like the first play of a drive. All right, sack. And it was a play action. As soon as he got to his back step, like that the top of his drop, as soon as he got to the top of his drop, the pressure in his face from the outside and up the middle. And surprisingly, it was George Kittle that got beat. George Kittle just got bullied by a defensive end. Now, Kittle's not the biggest of guys. I know he blocks extremely well, especially in the run game. But when you're asking him to kind of pass protect and do more max pro, that was probably like a max pro where they had deep routes, right? I'd assume, right? If you leave in George Kittle to block, a lot of times probably max protection, you're trying to get something down the field. I bet if I saw all 22, you might have seen those deep hookups where you have guys kind of reading the safeties. Are we going to take it on the go route because the safeties are down, or am I going to sit it down? I bet that's what they did. All right. But anyways, Trey Lance gets to the top of his drop. Boom. Backstep hits the ground. George Kittle beat. Guy up the middle beat. And there was nowhere to go. Right. And you could say, oh, hold on to the ball too long. I'd assume I'd have to look again. Let me see my notes. Sack on page 10. More Kittle beat. And my thing was, well, could he have dropped his eyes? Did he see the color flash? And he dropped his eyes again. Those are things I don't know. I'd probably have to see all 22 from straight behind him. All right. But there was a sack, and that puts you behind. So between this one, putting you behind the sticks right now, right? So second drive, you get sacked. And again, we're talking about the performance of Trey Lance and his development. Could he have did something better on that? Again, big play action, max protection. I'm assuming there's our vertically pushing routes. I'm assuming that on pin 10. So you get sacked. In the very next drive, the drive started with a run to Trey Sermon, and they call it holding on Burford. So back-to-back drives, you start behind the sticks. Not ideal. All right, but anyways, let's keep it going. On the second drive, again, took the sack, and then you go and quick throw to Kittle. Now, these are the ones where I don't want to say an issue. My biggest issue overall with Trey Lance was probably the throw to Ayuk. That was like a knuckler. Outside of that, this one, the Kittle, a little off. Quick decision, right? So people say, oh, got to get the ball out your hands quick. He did get the ball in his hands quick again. Had Ayuk open on the rub slant, but maybe he's like, okay, I'm going to go to Kittle. And he went to Kittle. Kittle was open. He just shot it too hard, a little outside. Now, maybe you take a little bit off of that, then it's a little easier to catch for George Kittle. But when you're firing it on the out, it hit off of Kittle's hands. And here I said could be more accurate on that. Could the ball be out now? Kittle, Wilson, short. Which one is that? Oh, third down pressure. All right, here we go. So I talked about the Kittle throw. I thought he could have been more accurate on that one. So now you got third down. And again, pressure. All right. Guys were beat right away. I said, could he get the ball out now? So it was third and I believe it was 17 because you had the sack on first down that puts you behind. All right. Third and 17. And you guys get beat. I did see a short route where potentially he could have thrown to Kittle, where was his eyes looking past the sticks or something closer to the sticks. Jeff Wilson in the flat maybe, but he gets flushed out the pocket, had pressure right away, got up there, didn't get a sack. So he did a good job of kind of like not compounding on mistakes from the offensive line. I think gained 1 or 2 yards or whatever. Okay, you get off the field. Oh, no, you don't get off the field because there's illegal contact. So they kind of got bailed out there. All right. Pressure, dump off to Wilson, color flash now. And then in another play, offensive line got beat again. So when I say color flash now, that means basically someone on the offensive lineman got beat that dropped his eyes. He rolled out to the right. He hit. He hit Jeff Wilson. Wilson picked up some yards, but not enough for a first down. Again, got to be better on third down. So now, again, got to be better on third down. Like if we talking about 49ers winning games, etc. Color flash right now. I didn't know. Get the ball out now. No. Okay, so that was just it. Yeah, color flash right now. He got the ball out to Jeff Wilson. And I thought that was good, right? Just, okay, I'm not going to make this any worse. I'm not going to force something downfield, potentially throw an interception. Let me get out the pocket. Okay, I threw the ball. And again, some of this stuff was tough because it was as soon as he got to the top of his drop, there was pressure right in his face. And then it's like, all right, well, what do you do on some of these? All right. Next drive. Drive started with a hold from Burford on a run play. So now you're behind. And when people talk about like clunky offense, that's what they're talking about. Your previous drive started with a sack. George Kittle gets beat really bad. Your next drive starts with a hold. So now we're talking about multiple drives in a row where you're in like second and dang near 20 situations. All right. Now they start with it. So then now the next play, there was a completion to Malik Turner over the middle. All right. So he threw a pass to Malik Turner over the middle, and I know immediately because I saw Turner go down and get it, and I was thinking, okay, was he trying to get him down because maybe there was a safety coming down? Because sometimes you'll see quarterbacks do that, right? Where it's like, hey, I got to get this guy down because there's harm's way. Or was he just off with it? Now, I have talked a lot where I expect him to have some of those type of things where there's a pass where, yeah, you will get run after catch opportunities. There's also going to be a pass where, oh, I didn't mean to get you down, and I got you down. All right, so which one was that? We'll know more when we see all 22. Overall, he threw the completion, middle of the field. That's where the 49ers bread and butter is going to be. But if it was a run and catch opportunity, you want to make sure you get that up for the guy to be able to do that. Completed the pass. That was solid. And then took a sack on a free play. All right, so free play. All right, free play is you get guys to jump off sides. He had a hard count. Good job. Sit. You jump. Boom. I get it. All right, let me see. Okay, get downfield so I can throw it deep. He couldn't even do it. Moore got beat off the snap. And Moore's guy wasn't the guy that jumped off sides. It was on the right side. Dude jumped off sides. Oh, I got a free play. No, you don't. Because Moore got his ass whooped again. All right. Not ideal. I said, took a sack on free play. And it's like, yeah, okay, he got sacked. And again, I see some people, they freeze frame some of the stuff. And I'm like, dude, what? Some of the stuff, I feel like I'm being very fair with my criticism and things I feel like, oh, he can do better or whatever. And I'll circle back around and tell you kind of my overall thoughts on it. But a lot of this was kind of bullshit from the offensive line. And these aren't the guys, so I don't want to harp too much on the guys that were getting beat. Moore and McKivitz. Ideally, you're not out there, right? It's like when people complained about Josh Norman last year. And it's like, dude, y'all don't want Josh Norman out there. 49ers don't want Josh Norman out there. So why are you complaining about it, right? And that's how, like, okay, Moore's getting his ass whooped damn near every play. But I'm not going to worry about Moore because ideally that's Trent Williams. Now, Trent Williams don't always play every game, so you can get in a little bit of trouble there. And when you look at the right tackle position, like, oh, that's McKivitz, that's not McGlinchey. So I don't want to complain too much about the pass protection and whatnot. I just want to see, like, certain things like, okay, if he's in this situation again, are there things that he can do different? Or are there ways, his eyes and stuff can move? And we'll talk about some of those. But the offensive line was bad. And the offensive line, it was an issue. Like, that's a real issue. So then took a sack on a free play. Now, next play or next throw, play action. Moore beat badly. It's like, dude, you get beat on the free play and give up a sack. And then the next throw, you get beat. Like, he got beat off the rip by the old dude, Hughes. Just beats him inside. I think I actually recorded that on my phone. I'm not going to hold my phone up. But he beat him right now. Right now. I mean, beat him, like, just off rip, beat him. And I know Trey Lance is like, damn, bro, I can't get to the top of my drop. So he's moving left. The bad decision I think Trey Lance made there was, and you like to see him keep his eyes upfield, right? A lot of people talk about, oh man, like Trey Lance, he's looking to throw. He's looking to throw even when, things aren't great. He keeps his eyes up the field. And that is a terrific trait to have. But sometimes just take off. Sometimes just take off. It was 2nd and 7, I believe. And that was an opportunity for him to make it a 3rd and 2. But instead he goes to throw it, arm gets hit or whatever. But Moore got beat badly. So again, if that's Trent Williams, is he rushed out the pocket in that same way? There was no quicks open. I would have noted. I noted on these other ones where there was a quick right now. Could get balled out right now. Kittle, Wilson, short routes, etc. So I noted that. But Moore got his ass whooped right now. And it almost looked like he wasn't even trying. And then the dude blew by Trey Sermon too. So Trey Lance is out. Just take off Trey Lance. Pick up 4 yards or whatever. And, okay, you got 3rd and 3 situation. You can do that. You have the legs. All right. And then they got stuffed on 4th down. So I don't think he played after that. But overall, my thoughts on the Trey Lance thing was I got to look at this as a whole, right? Or what we've seen of him to this point. Because that's what I talked about. Like, I didn't want to be one of those people that nitpick every single throw that Trey Lance attempts. I didn't want to be one of those people that talk about every single thing. It's as a whole. Like, what are we starting to put together, right? Where is he at? Where is he? The last outings that we've seen from Trey Lance, right? The last 3 quote-unquote starts. He completed 70% of his passes against Houston Texans in the regular season, a must-win. He completed 4 out of 5 of his passes in the preseason game against the Green Bay Packers for a touchdown. And he completed 11 out of 16, 7 out of 11 against Houston in the preseason. So it looks spotty. And I think a lot of the spotty play was because of the offensive line. There was another stat I saw out there that Trey Lance, out of all young guys, and I gotta bring it back up on exactly what it was. But if I'm not mistaken, I know he was number 1 for like rookies or something like that. It was like clean pocket. He had the highest passer rating with clean pocket. So when it's a clean pocket, he knows where to go with the ball and he's able to distribute efficiently. Is it extremely accurate? He can improve on that. But he's good there. He did not have a clean pocket. So that's when stuff breaks down, and that's where the mental aspect of things take over. Does he know where to go with the ball in a pinch, right? He knows where he wants to go pre-snap based on what he's getting from the defense and post-snap as well. But if there is pressure now, is he aware of where the check down is? Understanding matchups. Again, if I got Ayuk in the slot against a nickel and it's man-to-man, and I got Debo on the outside versus man-to-man, and Debo has a go route, I'm throwing the ball to Brandon Ayuk. All right, I'm throwing the ball to Brandon Ayuk. All right, but overall, we're talking about a guy who in preseason, right? Because we watched him throw 16 passes. He completed 11 out of 16 passes, 70%, and a touchdown, a 75-yard touchdown. So the ability is there, but it's just the other things. And everybody wants to, they talk about, development. And then a guy is getting the reps live because he needs the developing, and it's, no, trash. And it's like, dude, it could be a lot worse than this. It could be a hell of a lot worse. I mean, it's not bad. It's just understanding the speed of the game and what is the process that goes into that. And it's crazy to me the way I see him judged, which again, not bad. Again, last 3 outings, completed 70% in a must-win against Houston Texans, won the game, had a big play, explosive play, 2 touchdowns, whatever, right? Like, that was good. That was cool. That was good. Like, good outing. You see him against the Green Bay Packers, start, completes 4 out of 5 passes, 75-yard touchdown. See him against Houston Texans, completes 7 out of 11 under duress the entire time with guys that, these aren't my tackles. So it's just crazy to me. And again, I'm not saying it's perfect. So that's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying the over-exaggerating of Trey Lance for a guy with minimal play experience. All the ability in the world is there. But when you talk about development, people don't truly mean that, right? Like they say, like, you draft this guy, develop, right? Number 3 overall pick, etc. Oh man, God, come, like he's shown you he has the ability to do everything that you want him to do. What is lacking? The overall consistency of it, right? Just in the sense of what it looks like, the consistency. And is that something that you cannot improve on? I would be more worried if I see him go out there, and I don't see the splash plays. I don't see the plays on the move. I don't see him. I've seen him do everything that you want him to do. And again, you look at the last 3 outings, not bad. Actually fairly efficient. That's the facts, right? The facts are his last few outings, he has been very efficient. That's facts. That's not an opinion. That's a 70% of his passes in the game must win. 4 out of 5 of his passes, 7 out of 11 passes. Fairly efficient. Now, are there things he needs to work on? Yes, but that is the development aspect of it. Are there things that I see right now? Hey, does he know where to go with the ball when pressure's in the face? If he gets to the top of his drop and color flashes right now, does he know where to go with the ball? How do you get better at that? Because you have to go through it. You got to go through it. That's part of development. Now, I would say this for any of the young guys. This is not a Trey Lance thing. This is a Trey Lance. This is a Justin Fields who took 9 sacks in his first start and had 1 net passing yard. This is a Trevor Lawrence. This is all David Smith. This is all of them. You have to go through it. The good thing for the other guys is they got to go through it. They went a whole season of getting their ass beat. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, who got banged up, he's hurt again. Justin Fields, they got to start 8, 9, 10, 16, 17 games and go through getting their ass whooped. But Trey doesn't get that same leeway. And again, it's not that bad. It is really wild to me the way that they judge the guy that everybody say, hey, man, got all the ability, all the upside. And I talked about why I would bet on Trey Lance pre-draft. And the reason why I always would bet on him and because of what I've seen from the mental aspect. So anything that he's going through right now, I feel like he has a work ethic and a mindset to be able to overcome that. And again, it's not bad. There's a lot of over-exaggerating going on. Almost to the point where it's like, your last outings you've seen from him, for a guy with very minimal experience, for a guy who has appeared now in very few games, but you still have the expectations of like, oh, he don't got to go through nothing to develop any better. He should be a finished product. No. I said it last year and people didn't want to hear it, but I understood why Kyle Shanahan went with Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, bro, I got to win. I got 1 winning season in 4 years. I got to win. And they ended up going to the NFC Championship game. That was awesome. But I also knew I don't even want that. Like, if I'm Kyle Shanahan, I would like to be able to play this young guy because you're going to be better for it this year. If Trey Lance would have went through these things last year, which he had to, you would have been much better for it this year. You got to see it. And it's really crazy because, again, you want these highs. You want all these things of a guy playing amazing without having to go through any type of adversity or bumps in the road along the way, which, again, could be worse. He didn't turn the ball over in the preseason. He didn't turn the ball over. Like, that's good. I didn't see any, aside from that rollout to Brandon Ayuk, I didn't see the crazy, wild, errant throws, right? I saw him last preseason. Just look so rushed. I didn't see that now unless he was actually like rushed from the passer, like pass rush, right? And we just saw him get his ass whipped. We just saw the offensive line get their ass whipped. But I'm trying to drive through to the point that because of what I'm seeing and the panic I'm seeing in the chat. Oh, Jimmy Garoppolo. I've stopped talking about Jimmy from like I don't talk about with this and that. What is this Jimmy talk? What better things? I'd say the one thing we're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo is like, well, I think he'd be better on third downs. My thing is, do I believe that eventually Trey Lance would be better on third downs? Because that's the part of development that goes into it. Jeez. Really wild. Really wild. A kid, again, Last few outings, completed 70% of his passes against Houston Texans. Terrible first half, even though he completed 10 out of 13 passes. Threw a couple touchdowns, bomb, whatever. But oh my God, it was just a Texan. Okay, let me go out. Next time y'all see me, we play against the Green Bay Packers. Complete 4 out of 5 passes, 75-yard bomb. Oh, but it's the safety. Oh, but the guy was open, blah, blah. Then he comes out, completes 7 out of 11 passes while being under pressure and under duress the entire time he's out there. Jalen Moore getting his ass whooped over. McKivitz getting his ass whooped over and over. And it's like, oh no. Oh, I'm so worried about Trey Lance. What? Crazy. Anyways, man, y'all here you go. Come on live. There was a super chat. I'm about to get to the super chat. Brian J. already talked about Samuel Womack. You gotta kind of go back to the beginning for that. Really wild. The microscope. And I talked about it the other day. It's like, I talked about it the other day, like, man, this is like some LeBron James stuff. Like, LeBron James is under like a lot of, like a huge microscope. And the way that they talk about Trey Lance and the way they're not, like, everybody has a chance to play. Everybody has a chance to, like, take their lumps. And people talk about, oh yeah, no, it's not gonna be great, but you know, gotta do this, do that. And then you see what like goes into development, and it's like, oh, I don't want no parts of that. All y'all motherfuckers would take Josh Allen right now. Everybody. Do you know what Josh Allen looked like when he first started playing in the NFL? Now, I'm not saying he's gonna be that, because everybody, Dak Prescott, you know what I'm saying? You can say Dak Prescott, whatever, second year. First year, awesome. Second year, Dak Prescott, he could barely throw for 150 yards a game. Do you know what the development that went into Dak Prescott being able to do what he does? But you could still win with it. Okay, offensive line. One thing that Dak Prescott had as a rookie, great offensive line, great run game. Can you lean on that? So you could take a little bit off of your young guy. And in that game last night, they couldn't do that. But everybody is so like, I don't know, it's really wild. It's wild. It's like you want to, uh-oh, my bad, hit a button. I got a gym I just built, and right now it's like, oh, I gotta build my clientele. Right now, I got overhead and stuff like that. I gotta pay that, and if I'm glad that I don't got, not y'all. Listen, a lot of y'all real cool, but I'm glad I don't got a lot of people. Let's say on Twitter, right? I'm glad I don't got those people in my ear every day based on this, because y'all would say I'm a fail. Like, Croc, oh man, you trained 5 kids today. Croc, you trained 9 kids, but you got paid out overhead. You are not going to do it. I'm glad I don't talk to y'all, because y'all don't know that y'all, not y'all, just saying general people don't understand the process of development. Podcasting. When I first started it, we got 400 people in here right now. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. All right. Got 400 people in here. When I first started this YouTube channel, I'd maybe have 60 people. I maybe have 60, and a lot of people hoe up and they stop, right? Like, nah, I'm gonna keep pushing this. And we got 400 people in here right now. Shout out to y'all, love y'all. Like, that's the process. And it's very clear who has businesses, who has these things, who ain't never had to go through no adversity, who ain't never had to figure things out. It's very clear. I've had to do it at different walks. I'm like, man, like Croc, like, man, 19 years old, had a kid, dropped out of junior college. Like, man, how'd you get back into junior college? Man, well, I came back 2 years later. Man, they said I had to get straight A's. I had to get straight A's to be able to play at MJC. I got straight A's. I ended up getting a scholarship. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was doing crazy stuff, man. Like, crazy. I had a kid at a young age. Like, I was tripping. It's clear, again, because this is not bad. Like, what I saw from Trey Lance, like, it's not anything like, oh my gosh. But the way people react, that's wild. It is wild. Wild. Clearly don't understand the process of anything, of like getting better and what it looks like. I got the people coming on real quick. Let me get to the super chats. Niner offense couldn't score once, not against first, second, or third string defense. Is that concerning or preseason doesn't matter? I would say that ideally you would like to see things get going. They put themselves behind the sticks multiple times. You have 1st and 20 situations multiple times. The offensive line couldn't block. You definitely want to score. You definitely want to be able to drive down the field. And that hurt them. went for it on fourth down. The left side of the line got blew up trying to run with Trey Sermon. It got blew up. Like, what do you do? It was a real issue. Moore and McKivitz were a real issue. They were a real issue. Is it concerning? I don't know. I mean, it's preseason. We've seen teams. I think I just heard the Detroit Lions. The year they went 0-16, they won like every preseason game. They like dominated in preseason. And then turned around and went 0-16. Like, this shit don't matter. Snead dropped a touchdown pass. Croc, will Huff start when Ward come back? I believe Huff will start. They're just going to use him a little different, right? Like, I don't think he's Ward's replacement. I think maybe somebody else is. They clearly have a different plan for Hufanga's play style. So, yeah, I do think he'll start, if I had to guess. Hey, Hufanga got dipped on, or will Gibson start along Ward? I mean, now, obviously, it'd be kind of a trial period for Hufanga, right? So, if Hufanga in those first few games that Jimmy Ward has to miss, if Hufanga's doing well, then you stick with him. If Hufanga's struggling and Gibson is just playing better, then you play Gibson. At least that's how I would go about it. I appreciate the contribution. Gibson. All right. Offensive line is a liability. Need depth. I don't want to because I don't know. I don't want to overreact too much to the offensive line because I don't know if that's the 49ers offensive line. Now, if you told me, all right, man, y'all play the Bears this week and you got Jalen Moore, McKivitz, and all these young guys on the offensive line, I would say the offensive line is a liability. As far as need more depth and help, I'd say most NFL teams would tell you that they wish they had more depth on the offensive line. You just don't. You don't. Does Gibson playing for the Bears and seeing Fields daily give him an advantage to start? No, I think because they add things, right? Like come back to development, right? Well, actually, they got a new staff. Who is it? Who's their head coach? Eberflus or something like that. Bears it's not Nagy now. So anything that they were doing offensively or whatever from the Bears, is out the window. Now, he can maybe help with understanding, personnel. So you can look at guys like, hey man, you got Jackson out there at safety. This is what Jackson struggles with, right? So kind of put him in this situation. You might be able to get him like there's that. But even then, you don't know exactly how the new staff is going to utilize him. All right, here we go. Got some guys coming on now. Hey, whatever y'all want to talk about. I know I got a little excited there because I think the frustrating part for me is everybody talks about development and then don't understand what development actually looks like. And then they complain about certain things and they want to panic. And you know what I'm saying? And I understand development because I've been through it in every walk of my life, in every aspect of my life. Every aspect. When we talk about development and the stages and what it took. And it wasn't next day, I'm just good. Y'all, listen, I got, 400 people in here. A couple of years ago, man, dude, I've been talking about 49ers. I've been talking about this stuff for years. I put years into talking about 49ers, giving my analysis. A lot of things not getting paid for anything, willing to do any and every hit, trying to improve myself and watching back and understanding the different things I need to get better at. Like, I hear y'all. But I just started monetizing off of this. Not just, talking about Locked On and all that, right? Really monetizing. It took years to get there. So when we talk about the process of things, maybe I just understand a different level of kind of patience and understanding of just what goes into it. Here we go. Deshaun, good morning, man. How you doing?
What's up, Crocky? Mama, I made it. Listen, I had to tap in today. Today's my birthday.
Happy birthday, bro. Happy birthday.
I appreciate it, man. Hey, saying what's up to the Niner fan, man. Y'all keep y'all heads up. I think, a lot of us are tripping right now, but I don't think we're seeing our true offense. I think when it comes down to it, Kyle Shanahan is going to design plays and stuff that's going to be Trey's strength, and not even Trey's strength, but Kyle design plays that is for the offensive line strength. That's why you had a quicker pass game with Jimmy Garoppolo, because when we started to have all those injuries, it didn't make no sense to go down the field, because you're not going to be able to get there or hit those big plays. So right now, what we're seeing is a vanilla offense, because Kyle Shanahan is the guy that don't want to show anything or give anything to the opposing defense. So what we had, or what we've been seeing, is the mano type of play that we've been losing. They've been stronger than our people. So Kyle Shanahan is basically on angles and all this other stuff that's going to get us the edge to win these games. So everybody just calm down. We ain't doing any scouting and all that stuff for these preseason games. But I think we're going to have a better, more efficient offense going forward.
Right. And again, I think there are certain things where Kyle's going to be able to attack because he understands what to expect from a defense, but there's still going to be some hurdles. Now, can you get over those hurdles and still result in a win? Like, that's the main thing. Right. And Kyle has proven, the ability to be able to do that. Can he do that consistently throughout this season? And what does the growth look like from Trey Lance from week to week? I think that's, one of the most important things there. But yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree. Now, I'm not going to act like some of this stuff is nothing, right? Like, hey, Burford, man, you got called for holding twice. One I thought was actually a good call. Another one I was like, that's kind of BS. But, hey, if a guy you beat kind of cross your face or whatever, you got to fix that. Aaron Banks. Same thing, like if there's something that happened. When I was watching Banks, I was like, actually, not bad. But, you watch those things and how they kind of, and it's like, okay, we got to improve on these things as well, right? But overall, I mean, you don't know if it's going to just you're going to snap a finger, flip that switch, and everything's going to be great. But you have to be a little bit better and not hurt yourself and put yourself behind the sticks early in downs. That's definitely going to hurt.
And I think we definitely trip off of, it's like we're in a society of like, popcorn success. You want it right now, right then, right now. And the development stages of it, even when we look, the funny things, I was watching ESPN, they were talking about Trey Lance a few minutes ago about his performance in the preseason. And every time you turn on the TV, it's a game per game reaction trying to say that, should we be worried? Should we be worried? No, it's development. It's gonna take some time, and we got to be patient. I just don't think that Kyle Shanahan is going to go and put our offense in that type of position where we should be losing. I think he's going to give us the more percentage, the greater percentage pace that we should win to put us in good position. I just don't think we're going to go out and try to do a Patrick Mahomes air it out type offense or whatever. He's going to do what is best for our. Well, all I'm saying is they're going to do what's best for our team, our offense, our offensive line. I don't think we're going to be in bad positions, but I do think we're going to have struggles, if that makes sense.
Right.
So I just want to tap in and say, man, thank you, Crocky. I appreciate you, man. Mama made it. Second time on YouTube. I'm still feeling big. I'm feeling like Jay-Z right now.
Yeah.
I'm colossal. Shout out to the 399 people, because I guess counting myself. Shout out to the 400. I like you. God bless y'all faithful. I'm out. I'm about to go take some drinks.
Yeah, hey, have a good time, man. Hey, I'll take a shot with you.
Hey, man, listen, don't even play. I'll take a shot right here. I don't want your channel to get flagged though.
Oh, okay, yeah. Will the channel get flagged if you take a shot?
I don't know.
All right, okay. We don't got to find out, but you have a good one though.
But hey, appreciate you, brother. You keep going, man. Keep giving that knowledge, because you don't just drop football knowledge, you drop life knowledge, and I appreciate that, brother. I hear you, and everybody in this chat hear you. God bless y'all. Y'all have a nice one.
Peace.
Boom.
All right, good stuff there. Real quick, got a super chat here. Good morning, brother. Happy Friday, Niner gang. Nothing to worry about. Looking forward to the roster moves. Yeah, I think that's the thing that people. It's like, man, it's preseason. I don't. It's preseason. I think the issue is just the unknown of like what you're going to get from week to week at the quarterback position. Maybe that's why, but I don't know. Offensive line need to play better, but it's like, am I going to put a whole lot of stock into an offensive line that Moore and McKivitz were getting beat like a drum, but I don't expect those guys to be out there? Appreciate the contribution. Croc, nothing but Niner to put you on. I remember your start. Look how far you've gotten. Yeah, I remember. I always shout my guys out too, man. They wanted me to write articles. I'm like, bro, I ain't no writer. But if y'all want me to talk football, I'll come on and talk football. And I linked up with those guys, man. They were always cool. They're my dogs. Shout out to Mike Andrews. Shout out to Nick. They're my dogs. Trey was supposed to buy more time with his mobility. At least that's what people. I thought he did. He did buy time with his mobility. Like, did anybody not see that last night? Trey Lance buying time? But there's certain things where if the pressure comes here and it's around you, then you can't go anywhere. But again, his second throw, what'd he do? He had a free runner come off right side. He ran right around him. Talked about the time where Moore got beat off the left side and he went around the dude. He just kept his eyes up field too long instead of just taking off. And he went to go throw the ball. His arm got hit on the throw. Like, you know what I'm saying? Dude, yeah, man. Good. He bought time with his legs. We saw that against the Packers. What did he do? He dropped back. Somebody got beat. What did he do? Step up in the pocket, take off for 10 yards. I mean, like, what? So what do you mean? Here we go. Got my guy Peter on. Peter, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Croc? I appreciate you having me on. Like, I agree with you 100%. Like, that this is a lot of overreacting. Like, that's
what I'm saying, huh? I think that's what I'm essentially saying. Like, what are we overreacting for? And my bad. I ain't let you get your take, but go ahead, get your take.
My bad. Like, but I saw that. I looked at the game script, and there was Lance had 13 dropbacks and only 6 runs in 3 drives. So, do you really think that that's going to be the game script come week 1? I don't think so. Like, I think that we're going to see a lot of running. I think we're going to see a lot more running the ball, and then there was a couple of penalties in that mixed in there too. Like, so I'm not worried about it. I think that it's going to look completely different come week 1. Like, but I mean, it's like you said earlier, it's a learning process for Trey Lance. Like, I mean, the kid hasn't had a lot of football. He's learned. It looks like he's picked up. He looks way better to me this offseason than he looked last offseason, and I think that we just need to roll with the punches. Like, we're going to have to roll with the punches. He's going to have to learn on the fly. And I think that's just, I think Niner fans just need to breathe, and just enjoy the ride.
Peter, and not to get in your business or anything, but what do you do for a living, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm a store manager for CVS. So I'm in my office.
So, growing into the store manager job, right? Like, what was the process like? Like, where did you start? And then, like, how did you work up to where you are now?
For sure. So it's a funny story. Like, I started as a bagger in grocery, and I worked my way up to store manager. Like, no degree, no nothing. Like, it's just hard work.
So getting to be a store manager, and that's awesome, right? So you got to store manager. Like, let's say your first 6 months on the job. What did you learn from them then, and how'd you handle it as opposed to kind of now?
So, I mean, when I first came in, I was a knucklehead. I was a knucklehead, and like, you'd make a lot of mistakes. You make a lot of mistakes that your management is in charge of like kind of coaching you along and kind of pointing out those mistakes so you can correct them. But then if you correct them, you move up. If not, you become promoted to a customer. You know what I'm saying? So like, it is what it is. Like, but that's the main thing is that when Kyle and them get to see this stuff on tape, they have to get that stuff on tape so that they can point out the flaws to Trey when they get a chance. I think that's the main thing is he needs to get those reps so he can correct those mistakes.
Thank you, Peter. I appreciate you coming on, brother.
I appreciate you, Croc.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. You too, man.
He made the mistakes, so you can correct them on film. I think that's what that was practice for. I thought that's what games are for. It's kind of wild, y'all. It's kind of wild. Kind of wild. Learning process. This isn't romper room. Learning process. This isn't romper room. I don't know what romper room is. This is the NFL. What do you so what do you think that goes into learning? Even in the NFL, see, that's the issue. That is the issue, James. And I appreciate you, James, and I appreciate you coming in here. We're just talking. But that's the issue. One thing, when I was younger, right, I held the NFL players to like this super high standard of like, oh man, NFL, man, it's the best of the best. Like, oh my gosh, all these NFL players, man, they so great, they so good, etc. Right? And I grew up watching guys, when I was kind of going ththrough junior college, etc., university. I'm like, man, I was, 6'2", 200-pound corner, not as big as Antonio Cromartie, but I'd watch Cromartie and I'm, watch some of the things. I'm like, man, like perfect, man, Darrelle Reeves, these guys are perfect. And then you get to the NFL. You get to the NFL, and the first thing I realized, like the very first thing I realized was, wow, these are normal people. They're just like me. Like, they make mistakes just like I do. They got to learn from mistakes just like I do. It's not as big of a gap as people think. Now, certain people have different type of abilities, right? And for me, I can make mistakes, but maybe there are some mistakes that's like, man, I'm just never going to get better at that because I run a 4.55, 4.6 down there, right? I'm just not fast. I'm not as athletic as the next guy where he can fix those things and go above and beyond because, well, he has more ability than I have. And that's what separates guys in the NFL. But you're going to have your things where you have to, I screwed up this, I got to learn from that, and I got to try to do this. Like, that's the NFL. And then it comes down to who can become the best at being able to overcome either their flaws or things that, hey, I didn't do this well at first, and now I'm comfortable at doing this and continue to push forward. So, yeah, learning process. The NFL, it is a learning process. There are very few people that just come in and have it made from the jump. Very few, especially at the most difficult position on the field mentally, which is the quarterback. All right, here we go. Got my guy Swan Song coming on. Swan Song, good morning.
What's up, Croc? Good morning. Yeah, people are tripping, man. Like, we all know that Trey's thing is like always at the beginning, he starts slow, right? And I didn't think he had much of a chance to get rhythm in that game. I mean, sure, they did some rollouts, and that first pass they had was sweet to Juice, and then he missed Kittle by a little bit. But all in all, like if you see how that game went, it was crazy. It's how that offensive line lost that was alarming, right? Like it was so sudden, like alarming. That. So the thing is, I know we're not going to have our tackles there. I mean, we don't have our two starting tackles there. But I'm not sure. I don't trust any of the backups right now as far as tackles are concerned. And we don't know what McGlinchey's health is going to be this whole season, right? Like,
that's the issue. That's what I'm worried about. Now, here's my question to you, Swan Song. More faith in McKivitz or Daniel Brunskill to play right tackle?
I like that. Someone brought that up yesterday. I think for sure, if you had to ask me right now, okay, which you are, I would go with Brunskill because what I saw that.
Yeah, but and here's the thing. I don't think you're wrong by saying that because there was a time, Eric Crocker, and I'm not going to act like I'm just this offensive line talent evaluator, et cetera, but there was a time where I was like, oh, like 49ers, they're cool at left tackle. Like they got Daniel Brunskill. Like Brunskill was good at tackle. People forget that. I thought he was better at tackle than he was at guard. And he graded out decent at guard, like nothing crazy, like not bad, not great or anything like that. But I thought he was a better tackle than he was guard at one point. And I think he's more suited to play tackle. So again, I'm not saying he's this long-term answer or anything like that. But when it was Joe Staley about to retire, I'm like, dang, Joe Staley's going to retire? Well, okay, Brunskill's going to play tackle. So, so when you bring up the potential of Brunskill playing tackle, I'd probably take that over McKivitz and Moore.
Yeah, and I think Brunskill is more athletic than those other two, and that athleticism he'll lose, right? But he's not going to lose in the way that they lost yesterday. Dude, I swear, if I had a rep there, I would give up my body. You know what I mean? They were turnstiles, man. It was like, I was like, what the hell?
No, that was terrible. That was some of the worst. Do you remember Colin Kaepernick's first start? What stands out to you about Colin Kaepernick's first start against Chicago Bears?
Oh, man. I remember that game, but I don't remember like what that looked like. All I remember is Alden Smith going off. I believe Alden
There
Smith
you
went
go.
off. Yeah.
So what did Alden Smith do?
He rushed the passer. What do you mean?
Alden Smith had 5 sacks.
Oh, right.
I don't remember who that right tackle is.
Yeah, right.
Sure. I mean, this is 10 years ago, so he's probably not in the NFL anymore. But I don't know if he was in the NFL much longer than that because every snap, Alden Smith was just beating him over and over and over. Now, there was no Alden Smith out there last night, but those right tackles and left tackles were getting beat the same way. But that was as bad as I've ever seen. Like since Alden Smith was kicking that tackle's ass and got 5 sacks, whoever was McKivitz, Moore, they were getting beat in that same fashion. And you typically don't see guys get beat to that extent. Like that was really bad. But again, it's not to overreact to that because like you said, I don't expect them to be out there.
Right.
So that's the part where there's the overreaction to, the offensive line is just so terrible. They're gonna have some ups and downs, and maybe Burford. What do you think about Burford potentially playing tackle? I mean, he was a left tackle in college.
I mean, that was something that I kicked out there with my friends talking about that. You stick Burford out there, right tackle, put Brinskill at right guard, but he's a rookie, and like I'd rather have him get skilled. Like I'd rather have him
guard, continue learning guard.
Yeah, and then maybe in the offseason start cross training him and stuff like that. And I know that he's a tackle from college, a left tackle from college, right? And then
he also played guard too, but yeah.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it's like not just the technique wise, but now he's got to learn responsibilities, right? So do you really want to add more stuff on his plate of like, hey, this is what you do at guard, this is what you do at right tackle, and this, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, right. I think having Brunskill there, like if he's going to be able to play, I think that makes me feel better. I wouldn't mind a move. Like if the Niners came out today and said, hey, we're getting Eric Fisher or something like that, I'm not complaining. Like I am not complaining. But yeah, so, and back to what you were saying about Alden Smith, it's funny because I told, some of my buddies, I was like, dude, it wouldn't have mattered if Nick Bosa was on the left and on the right side, on the other side of the team, and they had Aaron Donald. It would have looked exactly the same. Like those guys got beat so bad, it wouldn't have mattered who, because it was so sudden, right? So, but right. There, like what other callers have said, there's things around that, and the run pass thing. The last caller mentioned was totally spot on. Like that's probably not how it's gonna look, and. Granted, our running game didn't go off, so then we had some crazy third down and distances, like 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, where, it would be, it's better as an offense to have like 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, and we did have one of those, but obviously, him throwing to that bomb on 3rd and 2 to Debo looked pretty much like. Yeah, if you see one-on-one with Debo, just throw it. When he had Ayuk right there that he could have dumped off in a game, I probably think he dumps off to Ayuk right there.
Ayuk was, but so that's my thing. And those, again, when we talk about development and like what it means and what's going, like seeing things, correcting it, right? If I'm them, and I look at that 3rd down and it's like, okay, you threw it to Debo, one of the best players on your offense. I get it, but the go routes, and I'm Kyle Shanahan talking to Trey Lance.
Right.
The go route to Debo Samuel has not been your friend this offseason.
Yeah, throughout, yeah.
But you know who has been your friend, Trey Lance? Brandon Ayuk. And when you see Brandon Ayuk matched up man to man in the slot, that's your one.
Yeah.
And that's what, especially on 3rd and 2. So like again, are those things that can't be fixed, right? Oh man, you made the decision to throw the go route to Debo Samuel. All right, let's go to Ayuk in that situation. Now you can look the safety off, you can look defense off, you can look right, hold guys there, and then come back left. That's part of the learning process. Yeah, and then the more you do it, the more you go through it, the more it becomes second nature to just know, oh, okay, I'm gonna look up, got him, boom, and hit him.
Yeah, and another thing is, I don't have any doubt that he's gonna make that play when it's the time to, but this is preseason, and I would not doubt, like Kyle says, hey, if you see this one-on-one with Debo and he has a step, or a half a step, like just take it. Like, I mean, it's preseason, because if they can establish that now, although it hasn't been established all off season, right? If they can establish that people are going to put a one on Debo, and if he could beat that, consistently, that just adds another like tool in the toolbox of what we could do, right? Because we have so many weapons on this team. We're going to get a lot of one-on-one situations, right? Like I think that's obvious, right? But if they can establish that, that would be crazy. But so far it hasn't worked, and I don't think that plays to the strengths of Debo's game. Like I don't think so. But it's the only reason why I wanted to go smooth yesterday, to be honest, is so I wouldn't have to go through 17 days of neurotic freaking 49ers.
I know. It couldn't all be, peaches and ice cream. There were a lot of highs after the Packers, and everybody, media is now, oh, yeah, great. And then it's like, oh, you go complete 7 out of 11, and you take some sacks because your offensive line was ass. And it's like, oh, that's the end of the world. He's not ready. It's like, okay, guys, we'll see. But all right, Swan, sorry, I got to get to the next caller.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Almost 450 of y'all. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm going to have to speed this up just a little bit. So I'm going to give each guy about 2 minutes to kind of, talk, because I have I got to prepare for this. We have a festival today, and I'm promoting my business, my gym at this festival. Got to get set up and everything like that. Like real businessman. I got business cards and everything, man. Shout out. It's what's up. Hey, shout out to all y'all with businesses, man. This stuff is tough. I ain't going to lie. But I wouldn't want it any other way. Anyways, oh man, we lost Papa Dragon. All right, here we go. We got Medic Mike. You on? Good morning, man. How you doing?
Good morning, Croc. How you doing, man? First off, good blessings to you, and good luck with the business, man. I hope that flourishes. I hope the festival goes well and everything.
It'll flourish. Now, will it flourish day one, like some people will want? Probably not. But over time, it'll take off. We're gonna keep chipping away.
Oh, I understand. I got
learn from our mistakes. Learn from our mistakes. Keep chipping away.
I got a business myself, and I've hit some road bumps, and so you have to pivot, swerve, and you gotta just find a way to overcome and just make it happen. And so it's not always instantaneous, and there's definitely some disappointments, but you learn from those. And as long as you're willing to stick it through and you believe in it, you're gonna keep it pushing, and it's gonna turn out okay. So
I got like a, I don't want to say a backup plan, because my gym, like, that's my plan, like, you know what I'm saying, and it was expensive. But I have help though. My help is actually like y'all, you know what I'm saying, tuning in to the YouTube channel, the Locked On Network. So I have a decent income from that. So it's not like, because there's a lot of people, they start a business and then it's like, man, this is it. This is all I got. I actually have help to where I can support my business as it's growing until now that's able to support itself. You know what I'm saying? So I do have that, but thank you. And I wouldn't be able to do that without y'all. Everybody in the chat right now, everybody that listens to Locked On 49ers, everybody that listens to Locked On NFL Draft. So y'all mean a lot to me. I really appreciate that. But go ahead though.
Yes, sir. If y'all in that chat, hit that like button for this great content Croc been pumping out for y'all. But yeah, I mean that applies across life. I mean, you got to give the man time. I mean, it's gonna take time to really blossom and develop. And honestly, I'm glad he made these mistakes right now, because this is the time where you have 2 weeks before the regular season to really learn and to really look at these mistakes on film. And he's really got that time. Sorry, my son is. Come here.
No, you're good. You're good. Keep it rocking. As long as he's not like killing himself or anything.
To really develop and really learn from these
mistakes.
What's
up, little man?
Say hi.
He's like, hi. What's his name?
If you that's Lorenzo.
Okay, Renzo. Let's go.
Yeah, Lorenzo. That's my firstborn.
Oh, nice.
But you get time to learn, and everything we've heard, he's smart. He's a savant. He's put in the most time on the his tablet in the off season. Like, this is good. Let him make those mistakes now. Let him get that time now. Make them now. Because if you are what they say you are, and everyone's saying the same thing, you're going to learn from that. You're going to keep it rocking. You're going to keep it pushing, and you're going to find a way to overcome and get better.
Yeah, facts. And I think the tough thing is people that haven't had to do that, they don't understand that process. And I think that's what people are trying to rush a little bit.
Yeah, perseverance and discipline, man. That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir.
Say bye, Crocky.
Bye, Rocky.
Peace. All right, Lorenzo.
Alrighty.
All right, Medic Mike. I gotta stop calling him Medic Mike. I call him Medic Mike every time. Here we go. Okay, hold on. Terror Dome. What is that behind? You got the double, got the 2 screens behind. Hold on, man. You out here stunting on us this morning. Good morning.
I wanted to be sure if that little Bears fan was there. I wanted to make sure that the Wi-Fi was right. I think all of this started when that janky Bear fan came. you ever remember? You remember the movie Janky Promoters?
Yep. Yeah. Janky Promoters was in Modesto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Modesto Junior College, but yeah. It was in the 209.
That janky dude. And then your Wi-Fi went out the next day, and you had to come back and he was on. He took over the show for about 5 minutes, and I'm like,
so no, my Wi-Fi didn't go out.
the laptop.
I hadn't charged my battery. My laptop died.
And the same thing happened with mine. I left the computer on all night, and it froze on mine. That dude just janky, man. He janky, and whatever. He got hold of our offensive line last night too.
Oh yeah,
the Bears went out or something. I think, Croc, we really need to consider our greatest asset is probably our running backs. We're deep, and we got some pretty established and good runners. And with that being said, we probably need to look at not cutting one, but trading one and helping out our offensive line. McGlinchey, when he does get back, I think his knee is questionable at best. And we obviously know McKivitz and good Lord Jordan Mills, they just simply not the answer. They're not. And we have a Super Bowl caliber team. And we really need to consider getting in the trade market. I've personally identified Isaiah Prince up in Cincinnati. I think if Sermon went to Cincinnati in Ohio, where he was a Ohio State Buckeye, and we brought in Isaiah Prince, I think we're a great deal solidified in terms of bookends. I'm a little shaky on Banks. Me and Mike were watching the game last night, and I'm just not a Banks fan. Maybe you could talk me off the ledge. What did you see?
I have to rewatch it again. Spill my water. I gotta watch it again. I watched it this morning. I was more focused on what it looked like with Trey Lance and maybe what he was seeing, so I can kind of talk through those type of things. In the process, when guys were getting beat, I was able to kind of note the extent of it and maybe, okay, this guy's beat right now. What is Trey Lance seeing? Are there guys open? Can he get the ball out right now? And I did come away with, I feel like he knows when he's able to set up in the pocket and throw the ball, he knows where to go. When he's rushed and has to throw before he wants to, does he know where to go? And I think that's where he can improve. But I wasn't able to see if it was Banks specifically. I noticed early on in the runs he was doing well, but after that, I didn't see him as enough of an issue. It was very consistent that it was the McKivitz and Moore over and over and over. My notes continue to have them more than the guards. I did know about Burford and his 2 holding penalties. I thought one was kind of BS. I thought the other one was actually a good call. And then I talked later about Sutherland getting walked back into the running back's lap. But for the most part, when Trey Lance was in, when I just watched the first 3 possessions, it was the right tackle, left tackle getting beat over and over. But nothing too notable from Banks.
Okay. And you must have had a DM with Castro Fields, because he stepped up a little bit. I noted that
he got the PI called on him, and he got beat, and what they call that is his time clock got sped up. So once he got beat, he was looking to kind of play through the hands, and while chasing, the receiver did a really good job of jumping through him to catch the ball, and the ball was early, and he got the PI. That's what I would hope Debo did. I think that ball from Mills was a little more underthrown than what Trey's was. So maybe it just made it a little easier for the receiver to stop and have to try to go through the DB who's not looking back. But there was that on Castro Fields. Aside from that, he had a really nice third down pass breakup.
Oh yeah, he did. And he looked a little bit more assertive, a little bit more aggressive. He was taking a little bit more chances is what I was kind of get to. And I thought you might have let him know, hey, it's time to do that.
I did not DM him, but maybe I'll hit him after. We'll see if he makes the team and whatnot. And if he doesn't make it, then I'll talk to him about certain things, And if he doesn't, they'll bring him back on P Squad if he clears waivers. But yeah.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, continue success. Keep on doing what you're doing. The business is growing. The popularity is growing. Everybody loves some Croc, man. We crazy about you. God.
I love everybody, man. I love everybody. So, all right, you have a good one.
All right, now.
All right, here we go. I had a question right here from a guy. He says, "Hey, yo, Croc, where the festival? I'm in Arkansas. I might be able to pull up." So I live in southeast Arkansas. I'm next to Mississippi and Louisiana. Monticello, we got a festival out here. It's called the Ars Festival, OURS Ars Festival, and it's today and tomorrow. So we'll be there today. My wife and I set up booth, everything, has some snacks out there for people, slips, trying to figure out, what they're looking for in their fitness journey, kids training, all that, just stuff to promote the newly built gym. So we'll be out there today and tomorrow. Yep. Monticello, Arkansas. Slide through if you're here. Slide through. You got a few trolls in here, Croc. Man, hey, Monty. Monte, there's always going to be the trolls, right? So, you kind of, the way I try to do it with the trolls is I try to just, hey, let's just have a conversation. Let's just have a conversation. But a lot of times you can't, They don't want that. But I'm going to try regardless. Got some fam that moved to Little Rock. Yep, Little Rock, hour away. Shout out to Little Rock, you know what I'm saying? I stay away from Little Rock a little bit because, it can go down. I like where I live. This is crazy because y'all know. I say it all the time. I'm from Stockton, California. And Stockton, they can get to tripping, right? They can really get to tripping out in Stockton. Out here, it's like zero crime rate. And it is amazing. I don't lock the doors to my house. I don't lock my car. My keys are in my car right now. Like it's amazing living here. Like, imagine living in the place or when you grow up, it's like you're always like, something might pop off, people might start tripping. Like, you never know, right? I grew up across the street from Valverde Park. They really get to tripping there. Go to house parties, tripping. I didn't see people get shot, killed, all that stuff. I didn't see everything. And to live in that place now where I don't worry about crime rate at all, like any type of crime, like that it don't even cross my mind. Now I still got my pistol because you never know, right? And that's just from being in Stockton. Just people can be unpredictable, but for the most part, crime is not even a thought in my head. So it's really wild. It's really wild. I love it. I love it. Shout out to these communities. Hell yeah. But here we go. It's a serious question. Why are they not entertaining Purdy being the second string to first string? He makes mistakes, but they were mechanical. He just has bonehead decisions. Hold on. I gotta see the. I hear you, Vlad. I didn't see your first comment. I'm trying to scroll up. I don't think I see whatever your first comment was. But it's a serious question. Why would they not entertain Purdy being the second string to first string? He makes mistakes, but they weren't mechanical. He just has bonehead decisions. Good question. I would say this. One, just in general, right? Just to, like, before I even get to that, like really answering that question, there's politics in every walk in life, right? So like when you invest a certain amount in something, like you're going to see that through. So just Trey Lance in general, like they're going to see that through because they invested a ton in him. So there's that part. Now, the football side of things, when it comes to Brock Purdy, what I saw was somebody, I did like, get the ball out of his hands quick. I love, when they had the too high, and these are things I wanted to talk about on Monday because, we got 2 weeks to try to figure out what the hell to talk about. But first too high, you watch him first too high, and it was like, man, he understands that Tampa safety, being able to drop in that layered throw. There was one to Juwan Jennings. I thought he did a really good job. Jennings did a good job of coming back, catching the ball there. I'd say that the thing that the Purdy's of the world All right, and let's say Trey Lance, Purdy. One, and they said some interesting stats there, and these are the things that I think people just kind of, they don't value enough where they kind of overlook it. He has thrown like 1,500 passes, all right, like since being in college. He has a ton of experience. When you give these simple looks in the NFL and he can align that post-snap, like he done been there, done that. So from an experience standpoint, there's just more there from even Trey Lance, right? Like that's a real thing. Now, how do you get that experience? Like, you got to play. Trey Lance has to play. He has to throw, right? But when it comes to Purdy, like, he just knows. Purdy is very Nick Mullins-ish, where there are guys that – there were times where Nick Mullins played, because people might look at that as a knock. There were times when Mullins played, and I was like, hey, man, like, that's a good game, man. You got a good backup. Like, damn, is he better than Jimmy? But the more you see the guys like that play, the more some of their things that you can't change, right? And again, earlier on the pod, I talked about what can you change, what can't you change. There are certain things that pop up that he just can't change. He can't overcome because there's some certain level of natural ability that will rear its ugly head. And when it comes to the arm strength and things like that of kind of pushing balls and trying to throw certain passes, at some point you'll start to see that, and you just notice that there's this cap. So right now, maybe he overcomes that. We'll see. I'd say he looks like a solid backup. And that's solid. Right now, you do everything you can to bring Trey Lance along and get him the necessary reps that he needs. See certain things. Change this, do this. And that's a process. But at the end of it, you have somebody that has just more immense talent, more natural ability, has the right head on shoulder, extremely smart, et cetera, et cetera. But needs the throws, needs the reps. Hope that made sense. I was able to look at the chat while going on. Stockton is gumbo pop full of gentrified Bay Area cats, just like the San Bernardino and LA cats. So, that's, Piper, that's a good point, because my family is actually from San Jose. Like, my mom from San Jose. My brother went to Mount Pleasant High School. My dad went to Mount Pleasant High School. Dad was out there in the streets. My uncles, they're all from East Palo Alto. So yeah, I mean, most of my family's from the Bay, and then everybody moved to Stockton because it's cheaper. My mom moved to Stockton because it's cheaper. It's like, I got 3 kids, raise them on my own, and then yeah, you kind of deal with that. Now Stockton is getting like more expensive for whatever. It's like kind of really expensive actually, but yeah, I'd say it's a lot of I wouldn't say gentrified Bay Area cats, because when my mom was moving from the Bay, no. But man, I lived in San Jose for some time, especially in time. If we got in a rough spot, we moved with the grandparents, man. Grandparents live right there off Tully and White Road, right by Eastridge Mall. You know what I'm saying? East Side San Jose. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, now I went to Cedar Grove Elementary. My brother went to Quimby Oak Middle School, went to Mount Pleasant. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Hold on, gotta get to this first. Do you think they put Purdy on the 53-man roster? I'd say the first time that even, I don't want to say first time it crossed my mind. Like, you watch these guys, me personally, I would not carry 3 quarterbacks. I just wouldn't. I'm not going to take away from another position that I feel like is definitely going to have to play, can help me special teams, have an extra pass rusher, have an extra defensive back, have an extra receiver, et cetera, that's going to help me in a different way. I'm going to keep 2 quarterbacks and have that extra spot for somebody that's going to really help me, because your third quarterback just may never play, right? So from that standpoint, I would cut either Sudfeld or Purdy, and then see if one of them can potentially make it back on practice squad, and if you don't, oh well, right? Like, that's how I would look at it. I think every year, like with the Purdy type guy, like you got him in the 7th round, you can go draft a guy 4th round, 5th round, 6th round. Look what the Patriots did, right? They drafted a quarterback 4th round, and you're going to be a backup quarterback. So you can get guys. So I'm not like so much worried about like the bigger picture of what Purdy is. I think he's a solid backup. It looks like he'll be fine, but not necessarily like, oh man, I just can't let him go. Like, I wouldn't think that. Now, as it pertains to Sudfeld versus Purdy, who would I keep out of those two? I'd say all things being considered equal, I would go with the cheaper option with Purdy. I mean, ideally you would like that veteran presence, and maybe you just say, you know what, we just keep 3 quarterbacks or whatever. But I would go with, when you look at Purdy, it's like, well, we're going to have him for 4 years, et cetera. He's cheaper. So from the business aspect, that. But then from the other business aspect of Sudfeld getting $2 million guaranteed, which isn't a ton of money, but, right, it's not a ton of money, but is enough to where it's like, is there a huge difference between Purdy and Sudfeld? I'd say it looked a little bit more different in his last preseason, but I'd say overall there was a lot of good from Sudfeld through the eyes of being a backup quarterback. I think he did some really good stuff, really some high level. Like there was a throw he made against Green Bay that ended up getting dropped by I think Austin Mack or something like that. Where I mean he spun it and it was just like over the outside. I mean it was a great throw, right? So he gives you those type of throws. There was a throw he made last week against Minnesota where he's rolling to his left, flicks it. I mean, just the perfect drop. So he's done some really good things as well as just the normal things you want to see. The third preseason game was a bad outing for him. But aside from that, I thought he was solid to where it's like, oh, this is my backup quarterback. I'm cool with it. Let Purdy go. If you can bring him back on practice squad, cool. If you can't, then we'll figure out to get a way to get another Purdy. That's just kind of how I would look at it. TDP always cleans up the mess in our, or TP, toilet paper always cleans up the mess in our bathroom. You think they use TP for their dirty work, or do you think they use Mason? Okay, you're saying, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. Appreciate you coming from live from the 415. All right, TDP, Ty Davis Price, like he's gonna be out there no matter what. It's gonna be between Mason and Sermon, and I don't know. I don't think it's great for Sermon right now. Eric Crocker, I understand where you're trying to steer. Remember, he is only given reps with third string, so of course he doesn't have the same development path Lance had an entire year and came out. Yeah, but you have an entire year of not playing, and what's the main thing that Lance needs? Like to actually play, right? Like you get those live looks, like okay, I have to make these quick decisions and then be able to learn from it. And he had 1 year at North Dakota State, powerhouse, as opposed to Purdy, who went to not Minnesota. Where did Purdy go? I'm blanking on what college Purdy went to, but he was there like hell of years. Like he didn't see it all, been through it all. I'd say he's about where I expect. All right. Anyways, I think I got one more super chat here. Let's see. How worried are you about the O-line, and what are your thoughts on improving it? Some people brought up talking about guys like Fisher. Maybe Eric Fisher, a veteran out there, can help. I'd say Fisher got to be better than goddamn McKivitz or more, right? And do those guys got to play? What's going on with McGlinchey? Just don't know. But if I'm the team, I'm concerned with the tackles, the backup tackles, because I don't know if I have a answer for it. But clearly they're not it, because that wasn't it. That wasn't it. What I saw last night is like, bro, I don't want you. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. Lance confusion in preseason. Texans defense had Lance lost. I don't think Lance was lost. Is that what you got from it? I think the tackles got their ass whooped, and he get to the top of his drop, and there's pressure in his face from both tackle spots. And another time where he got sacked because George Kittle got bulldozed, but I didn't see confusion. Matter of fact, I'd say one thing about Trey Lance, he's not confused. Like, he don't get confused. Now, is it when George Kittle does get bulldozed, or when McKivitz does get his ass whooped, and I got to know, okay, where is my outlet? I think he can improve on that. But just in the sense of like post-snap, pre-snap confusion, and let's say you have a clean pocket, like he has no issues with that. So he wasn't confused. He just was, these dudes getting their ass whooped, and I got to, get better at making the decision that I'm not ready to make. And I don't think that's confusion. I think that's just figuring out that part of like, okay, I got to be able to do this. But not confused. Trey Lance don't get confused. He one thing that's been very clear is he knows where to go with the ball, or where he wants to go in pre-snap, post-snap, stuff like that. That hasn't been an issue. Now, you know what's confusing? So I believe that's Zach Wilson right there, Jets gang. Confusion is Zach Wilson early in the game, like his second snap of the game, and he drops back, and he has two sit routes, and he never sees the linebacker, and he throws a sit route, and the linebacker undercuts it and picks it off and starts running the other way. I know that happened to Zach Wilson. That was confused. Trey Lance was confused. He didn't turn the ball. He hadn't turned it over all preseason. If I see Mason get swooped by the Seahawks, right, I bet you wouldn't see it. Iowa, that's where Purdy went, Iowa. But yeah, Mason, I can see it. Seahawks, you already know they're lurking. The Seahawks are lurking. They are lurking. Yeah. I know my guy, Jets Gang. It's all love. It's all love. It's all love, Jets Gang. But yeah, that's more confusion. Zach Wilson doesn't need to focus on football when he's got his mom's friend on his mind. Oh, man. Hey, he said not confused. He ain't see it. Well, okay. Well, I mean, confused. That's confused, right? He's confused by whatever he thought he was seeing from the defense. He thought wrong. Like, he dropped back quick. Oh, I know exactly where I'm going. Boom. Oh, no, I'm confused. This motherfucker jumped it and picked it off and took it the other way. It wasn't what I thought. You know what I'm saying? That was confusing. And I like Zach. So here, listen. All these guys, and I'll talk Jets Gang, it ain't about Zach Wilson. It ain't about anything. It's these guys are young. And things like that, I believe, are going to happen. Now, outside of that, can you make enough plays to be able to overcome some of your youthful inexperiencedness? I guess is a word. That's the thing. But if you go out there, first of all, if the offensive line is getting their ass whooped, and you can be the first to attest to this. What did you see from Zach Wilson last year? It's like, bro, under pressure. Well, there's no Becton. Right tackle, like, you got guys that are hurt. You're trying to figure that out. I know Becton's hurt again, but you're trying to figure it out. Like, that was the issue. It speeds up their clock to the point where everybody's saying now, oh, Zach Wilson better, etc. Flacco better. I see, now we're just talking, man. I'm just rapping with y'all now. But I'm about to get out of here in a few minutes, but where's it at? This is not me getting on Zach Wilson. There was something I want to touch. Pro Bowler Mac Jones or Zach Wilson. I'm watching, y'all, maybe y'all saw it. Here's the thing. And I'm just talking now, right? Like, so this is me just talking to the homies. Everybody is like, there's been this microscope on Trey Lance and every single thing that he's doing. It's like, y'all didn't see just yesterday or whatever, Mac Jones throwing multiple interceptions, Mac Jones not being great, Mac Jones 50% completed 4 out of 8 passes in preseason. Like, it ain't been great for him. Go back to last year, Mac Jones, his last 4 games through 7 interceptions. Like, you know what I'm saying? Lost 4 out of 5. The only win was against Jacksonville. Jaguars get blown out because you can't keep the ball moving, throwing interceptions in the postseason. Like, again, I expect these things from rookies. It's just wild to me that it's the Trey Lance is the one where everybody just, oh, look at what he's doing. And not like, do you not see these other motherfuckers playing quarterback? And they all are going through it. Tell the truth. Did you sport Niner or Raider gear as a kid? Bro, Niner or Raider gear? Always been a 49er fan. I think I had a Raider hat one year. When did I have a Raider hat? I don't know. But I've always I got a childhood picture, 3rd grade picture. I used to go everywhere with my 49er football. Had the 49er football in the picture, 3rd grade, out in San Jose, East Side San Jose. Here we go. I ain't gonna do this. Hey, we gotta start the NFL season. That's all. Zach lost 8 games. He and Rodgers was only 2 quarterbacks to not throw a pick. Huh? Oh, Zach's last 8 games. Okay, we say that, right? Okay, Zach Wilson last 8 games, didn't throw a pick. Okay, let's look at Zach Wilson's. Let's look at his stats. We're going to pull up his stats. Zach Wilson's stats. Just because, I mean, again, you kind of threw the stats out there. So let's look at his game log. And what did that look like? I'm supposed to be getting ready for this damn thing. Let's look at Zach Wilson's last 8 games. Because you're right. Hey, man, he did not throw a pick. So let's look at it. What does it look like? Yeah, we're going to talk about Zach Wilson. Let's share screen, Chrome tab, Zach Wilson, stats. All right. Can y'all see this? Should I make it bigger? Pause. Should I make it bigger? So let's look at Zach Wilson's last 8 games or so that everybody brings up. All right. So his last game he played, he completed 7 out of 20 passes for 87 yards. He had a touchdown, though. He didn't throw no pick. Now, he only completed 35% of his passes, but he didn't throw no pick. The game before that, completed 57% of his passes, 1 touchdown, no pick. Okay, that's cool. The game before that, 100 yards. He completed 14 passes for 100 yards. But he didn't throw a pick. Like, it's not like world beater numbers. 56%, 45%. Like, it's not like it's like great. And what I mean by that, listen, rookie. He got it. He's working through these things. I get that. I'm just saying in the sense of like the bro got to go through this. He got to go through this. I mean, we're not gonna prop that up though. We're not gonna prop that up. That's what we're not gonna do. So it was the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. Last 5 games he didn't throw a pick. All right. So not last 8 like you said, but last 5 games he didn't throw a pick. But we're not gonna prop it up like, oh man, he's just out here. He's just balling. Like New Orleans, he completed 19 out of 42 passes. 45%. But again, I feel like I'm the most fair person when it comes to this because, like I say, you gotta go. Like he gotta go through this. He gotta go through it. Now, maybe he never makes it out of it. I don't know. Maybe Trey Lance never makes it out of it. But they gotta go through this. They gotta go through this. They gotta go through it. And that's always been, yeah. Hey. Hey, he only completed 7 out of 20 passes, but he ain't done no pick though. He ain't done no pick. Hey, and this now I got jokes and stuff like that. But like, you gotta go through it. And you know the great thing for Zach Wilson and these other guys. And Zach Wilson, I don't know, we'll see because he's hurt right now and whatever. At least they got the opportunity to go through this. At least they got the opportunity. He do got weapons. He got no weapons this year either. He got weapons. You got Elijah Moore. You got Garrett Wilson. Like them dudes making plays. They got them a tight end, big tight end. They got some weapons. They got Corey Davis. They got running backs. They got 2 running backs. Like they got weapons. See, but just so okay, he was playing with backups, making them look better. Listen, and I don't want to get on Zach Wilson. I try to come on here and be fair to everyone and continue to say you gotta work through these things. You gotta work through it. And Zach Wilson is going to continue to work through. I think Zach Wilson needed this. I think he needed to go 7 for 20, 19 for 42, 45%, right? But you go through that, use that experience, you continue to move forward. Hey, we got some more weapons. Let's continue to improve on that. Why can't I give Zach Wilson that love with this ugly shit, right? Why can't I give him that love? But we can't even let Trey Lance play a game. When he's not even terrible, but the offensive line's so bad. Because you don't got your starting tackles in there. But it's this Lance that they jump on. That's crazy. That's my main pushback. And that's always been my pushback with my defense of Trey Lance. It's because I defend all these dudes. You're lying. Did he really? Hold on. Wow, he did. He got sacked 8 times and had 7 completions. Talk about confused. But, again, you need to go through that. Getting sacked 8 times, only 7 completions. Can I go through that so I know what it looks like? Gaining experience. You got to go through it. Now, 49ers have a good team. It looks like, right? Offensive line got to hold up. I disagree with you, Croc. I think by week 8, we'll know. What will you know? What will you know? You know, hey, Trey started slow a lot. Well, shit, he started fast against the goddamn Packers in the preseason game. Just saw that. Again, it's like it's like everybody got this different set of rules for these other guys, but the guy that actually like, hey, I need to play, I need reps. I play less than these other guys, I need the reps. Y'all see me, y'all done seen the ability I got, y'all done seen all that. Y'all done see me have these plays, y'all done seen the splash plays, y'all done see me do all this, but hey, I just need to continue to see it. And it's like, nah, you got till week 8, even though all these other dudes got to play all year and get their ass kicked and learn, and get their ass kicked and learn. And goddamn Mac Jones, again, terrible at the end of the year, but he went to the Pro Bowl. Not doing well in preseason or whatever is going on right now in training camp. Everybody's, Mac Jones struggling, etc. But they're not going to talk about it. But Trey Lance, because goddamn Jalen Moore and McKivitz can't block nobody. That's who we're going to talk about. All right, y'all. Wifey busting in the door. We got to get out of here. Appreciate everybody contributed to the show today. Great show. Love all y'all. Appreciate all y'all. Hit the like button, subscribe button. I got to get ready for this festival. You want to say hi? No? All right. Wifey don't want to say hi. I'll see y'all Monday. Peace.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Rodgers over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Cross Talk TV podcast. Peace.